Hi there, my name is Brittany Zago, and today we're going to be talking about strategies for teaching gifted learners. We're going to focus on their socio-emotional needs because they are gifted learners and they do develop asynchronously. So we need to first look at the fact that many people who are gifted learners are perfectionists. So you can read there what it says about that. But we also need to remember that we need to allow them time to make mistakes. We can't let themselves beat themselves up for that. Mistakes are learning opportunities, so we need to encourage our students to try their hardest to not get upset if they don't get it the first time. This is going to be a little difficult because they are used to being able to pick up strategies and learning quickly. We need to make sure that they aren't upset when they don't meet their impossible standards. Another thing we need to do is provide them opportunities for high involvement. We need to allow them to be engaged in the classroom environment. So in order to do this, we can figure out what their intelligences are, how they learn best, and adapt our teaching to meet those styles. And then down here we have a little picture. It says perfectionist scale. 50% is good, 100% is excellent, but past 100 is perfectionist. And I'm sure you've seen that in many people that you've come in contact with. Next, we need to recognize bullying. Because gifted students can be viewed as loners, weak, small, and attractive, we need to make sure that they aren't subjected to bullying because that is going to make their lives more difficult. So we need to enforce a positive learning environment for all of our students, stop bullying at the first sign, and make sure that there are consequences when students are bullying. And make those consequences known and follow through with those consequences. We also can partner our gifted students with other students who are quote-unquote normal and kind of create a mutual relationship of respect there, so that way they have somebody to go to in case there is bullying occurring. Lastly, we need to recognize that our gifted students are not gifted in all areas. They may be gifted in science or math and not very gifted in English. We need to remember this. So we need to identify their strengths and weaknesses and work on both areas, not just the weaknesses, but also focusing on their strengths. I have a nice quote down here. It says, like most people, profoundly intelligent students are unique individuals with varied and multifaceted talents and interests. Some demonstrate mastery in multiple areas, while others excel in a single subject. Excuse me. So we need to think, what are asynchronous students? What does that mean? This can be a student who's identified as gifted, but they also have some sort of disability. ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, Asperger's, something is there. So their emotional and social levels don't match their academic levels necessarily. So a few things we can do to help them further are provide them with different writing options. Some of them might not like writing with pencils provided to them, so have alternate methods of recording. They can use computers, voice recorders, anything you can think of that they'd be comfortable with. Give that to them as an option. Next, we need to make sure that we don't separate them from their normal peers. We need to allow these students to just make friends with everybody, people who are like them and not like them. And then we need to recognize that they're not lazy. We need to allow these students to learn at their own pace, but we shouldn't isolate them. We need to make sure that we have small groups that work together and provide challenges for one another. And we also need to realize that these students may be in remedial courses because of their disability, and so that may cause them to act out because they're bored, because they don't feel as though they belong in that class, etc. So they're going to act out, they're going to be frustrated. We need to assess these students to see where their learning difficulties are and address them. Some final thoughts are to have clear lists of goals for these students so that their progress in learning is measurable. And if the student is working independently, have them keep a log. Allow them opportunities to choose how they want to learn, and vary the method of teaching, which could in fact improve your entire classroom. We need to focus on our students' strengths, allow them to flourish in the classroom, working together to work on their weaknesses. In conclusion, gifted students are all different. Assess your students, do outside research, have a team together to help the student, work to improve all of their academic areas, and have a zero tolerance towards bullying. At the bottom we have a little comic. It says, Mr. Wickers called me gifted in front of the whole class. I'm ruined. And this really addresses the stigma that gifted students may face.